Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Ashley Empowers. I'm your host, Ashley Brown, and today I am back with another exciting episode of Dating with Purpose. As many of you know, the purpose of this series is to showcase and highlight young Christian couples who are keeping and putting God first in their relationships. I know for me, growing up, I didn't have many positive examples of a godly relationship or how a marriage is supposed to look. And I believe that this series spreads a positive light when it comes to relationships. Today, I have the honor of interviewing Nonso and Mercedes Chetsuya as they open up and share their journey of dating with purpose. Hello, and I would like to welcome you all to the show. I'm so happy that I get to finally meet you. You're welcome. So I just kind of want to start off, if you all would just introduce yourselves and give us a little background of your relationship and how long you've been together.
Okay. Well, of course, my name's Nonso. We met at 24 Hour Fitness. Definitely didn't expect us to be married. Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny how we met. I kind of saw her working at the front desk, and I was like, okay, new worker, let me go ahead and get an energy drink, because you bought your energy drinks at the front counter. Right. Like, let me try and slip in a conversation, and I was like 2 cents short, and so I put the drink up. I was like, oh, sorry, I'm 2 cents short, and she kind of snaps at me. She's like, well, you owe me 2 cents. Remember that? I'm like, oh, okay, all right, okay. So first impression was like, okay, don't mess with her. So yeah, that's my first impression. But
how long ago did this take place that you guys met?
2 years ago in October. So when we got married, we've been married for a month now. Okay. When we got married, it would have made 2 years that we were dating.
Okay.
Yeah, or met. But we started dating the following January, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so we know each other about two years now.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So you said you've been married for a month?
A month.
Okay,
yes.
so
1 month strong.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So can you, Mercedes, start off by just telling me your view of dating with purpose? What does it mean to you?
Dating with purpose, to me, is having a relationship that is, first and foremost, that's going somewhere. You want to make sure that when you are dating someone, there's a goal. A lot of people, they'll just kind of date around and not really have a goal in mind, because it feels good or because that's what society, that's kind of what you're born into and just what people do, what they want you to do. But it was really important for me in my single life. Okay, I do want to be a wife. I do want to get married. If I can't see this man, if there's things in him that I'm like, okay, he's definitely not a husband, then there would be no reason for us to date. Right. I mean, and it's not even like, are you my husband? It's the fact that you're just not a husband, period, right now. So why would I pursue you and end up in heartbreak when I know the goal and the plan that I have for me? Awesome. And so I just think dating with purpose truly means having a goal, and of course, in our case, Christ being the center of the relationship and in that goal as well. So
I love that. Nonso, what is dating with purpose to you?
well, first off, dating with purpose means you have to have Christ in the center of the relationship. Mm-hmm. He has to be the foundation of your relationship, otherwise it will crumble. That is 100% fact. Mm-hmm. A second thing is that, honestly, the one thing not even the richest man can buy is time. Mm. Why waste that? You understand? So when you go into a relationship, your expectation of that relationship should be known. Like, hey, what's your purpose in this relationship? Are you trying to get married? Are you trying to, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Just being upfront with each other and 100% clear, because otherwise we're just wasting each other's time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you. So did you all have conversations like that early on where your intentions were clear of what you both wanted?
When we started dating, yes, we did, definitely. At first, initially, we just kind of started hanging out as friends. We didn't really, I guess, like each other, or we just attracted to each other. But absolutely, when we started dating, it was, I mean, he told me pretty early, without telling me, I guess, like, you're my wife. And I was kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, like,
Yeah, she thought I was kind
don't
of
speak that just yet, let's see, but definitely the Lord was speaking to him in ways that maybe hadn't yet revealed to me, but definitely that was
Awesome. So can you all just give a little background of what your prior relationships look like? Like, have you always had this mentality of dating with purpose?
I was born with it. No.
Okay, I was gonna say, because that is a blessing.
I came out of the womb dating with purpose. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. A lot of my past relationships were a lot of just dating to be dating, dating to get over the last man, dating because you're lonely or just to kind of fill voids, and so definitely a lot of relationships and a lot of sin, a lot of sex, things that shouldn't have been taking place, and nothing healthy, nothing that would truly have a foundation or in Christ and an end goal. So absolutely, dating with purpose was not always on my mind.
Okay. So Nonso, was he the first man that you had this mindset of dating with purpose?
I wouldn't say the first.
Okay.
It's kind of like there's past relationships that I had been in that because even to say that you want to date with purpose and to say that you're a Christian, you're living for Christ, I'm living for Christ, it's really like, what does that look like? You have to be specific. Like, he can say, I want to date with purpose. Okay, well, he could think dating with purpose means that we do fondling and just don't have sex. But me, I'm like, no sex. Not to say that was him, but you just have to really lay those lines out.
Yeah.
Or you can even say, I want a good marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, what is a good marriage? What are the specifics? What does a good marriage look like? Because my view of a good marriage could just be that we never argue, and his could, they're just, you really have to be specific.
Right.
Yeah, about it was I've had guys say that they wanted to date with purpose or have a Christ-like relationship, but what I viewed as a Christ-like relationship and what they viewed as a Christ-like relationship didn't line up.
Okay, so this is the first time it matched up.
It matched.
Okay. I think that's really good to touch on because a lot of people can fit that mold of they talk the talk, but when it comes to walking the walk, it's a completely different story. So what about you, Nonso? Did you have this vision of dating with purpose going through college, or how was it?
No, I actually, let me see. In my past relationships, what I did was, or as far as, hey, I like you, you like me, maybe we should probably talk or be in a relationship. That was my, idea of a relationship. But then I decided, right before I met her, I was like, Lord, I want to do things your way. Forget my desires or whatever's been going on. I'm just set for you. So whatever you have ready for me, I'm ready for it. So when I made up my mind and decided that I was going to just follow Christ wholeheartedly, and whatever woman he has placed for me, the next woman I'm going to date will be my wife. I told the Lord that. I was like, Lord, the next woman that you place in front of me that has that Christ-like mentality, that we can empower each other, and that's going to be my wife. And lo and behold, I actually met her a little less than a week after that.
After you prayed that?
After I prayed that, yeah, exactly. Now, of course, I didn't know she was my wife,
right.
But,
I love this because I know that you two met while you were both in college. So praying those prayers in college is not very common. Like Mercedes was saying, we have so many people with a mind frame of let's just date today, just date to hang out. Also, did you all get married while you were in college? Yeah. Okay. Yes, well, since you're still in college, have you had any backlash or anything because you made a choice to get married while still in college?
I'll let you answer that first.
You got an answer ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess him more so. He may have had a little bit more than me, but definitely you do hear people. I mean, even we would tell people, well, we're celibate until marriage. They would look at us like we're aliens. Like what?
Y'all
I guess
drink
I don't know
test in the
if they
water?
thought we would just look like old. I don't know. Maybe it didn't fit the mold of what they felt like a Christian should look like, or they didn't think we would be this young. I don't know. But absolutely, there was a little backlash with us still being, but at the end of the day, we prayed a lot about it. We sought God. We have just a peace that truly surpasses all understanding. I mean, we got, honestly, our wedding, when God gave us a date, it was October the 18th. And so and honestly, I didn't know at the time, because we got engaged in March, I didn't know that the whole time planning that was going to fall right in the middle of our finals week. Okay. So not only were we planning a wedding, but we both had finals going on, and we did exceptional in our finals. Yeah. And people kept saying, I don't know how y'all are doing that. Like, they kept, all of our friends, everyone around us, oh, y'all are crazy. They kept calling us crazy, right? Because they're like, finals going on. And then afterwards, I think a couple weeks ago, I just was really praying about it. I said, because someone kept asking, why'd you choose that date? Why'd you choose that date? Mm-hmm. I said, we prayed about it, and God gave us that date, and we felt at peace. And God told me, he said, I said, why did you choose that date? It just seems like the craziest thing in the world to do that. Yeah. Especially, even me being in my senior year, there's a lot going on. And he specifically said that was the date that I would get the most glory. Mm-hmm. That was a date that your human mind, your fickle human mind, like, we would have never chose that date if we would have looked at all the stuff around us that was going on during that time, and all the trials and just with everything going on. Me doing an internship, him doing his internship. There's just so much. But he said that's the date that I would get the most glory. Yeah. Because people would look and not believe that it was possible, but you guys did it. And we tell people, I said, I prayed a lot, because I planned the wedding ourselves too. I said, they said, how did you not go crazy? I prayed. Yeah. Every single, you gotta stay in your word. You gotta stay in prayer and stay faithful to that. And Amen. And so
that's awesome. And I can really relate to what you said, because I can really relate to that, really just seeking God, because God will reveal those things. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just really important that people understand, like, when you have that relationship with God, you can go to him and he will make things clear. Absolutely. And even when people don't understand it, because a lot of people, some people that could have been in your situation, they could have been like, oh, August comes around and they see, wait, my syllabus says finals this week, let's move it back, let's do this. Absolutely. But the fact that you all stayed faithful to what God told you is awesome. And I love that. Absolutely. So thank you for that. So what was your focus while dating? Like, let me say it this way. Yeah, okay, so what was your focus? Nonso, I know you said you prayed for a wife, that was your intention. How did you structure your dating in a way that would lead to marriage? Because you have the mindset of dating with purpose, but for people out there that are watching, and it may be two individuals that want to date with purpose, how would you recommend them structure the relationship, and how did you structure your relationship to lead to marriage?
Definitely boundary lines are necessary, as far as after this time you can't come over, or no kissing, no touching, we only meet in public places, different things like that. Initially, in the beginning of our relationship, we didn't really set those boundary lines, but the closer that we came together and understanding that, hey, this is really what we want, this is getting serious, we started setting up more boundary lines, like, hey, it's probably best you don't sleep over, or we started becoming more serious. So if we could redo it, probably would set the boundary lines earlier in the relationship, because there's definitely temptation, and anyone who thinks like, oh, I'm not gonna fall to this, or oh, this won't happen, come over, yeah.
Absolutely. It took us, which of course we didn't have sex, but we did things that obviously weren't pleasing to God, and so we were just kind of redefine, okay, what what is this really? Let's redefine these boundaries. Let's go ahead and draw this line. Definitely, though, we did even set boundaries, but I would probably, I think the other day I told him, I said, if we could go back and, I said, I don't regret anything, but if we could go back and do it again, I probably wouldn't kiss until marriage. Okay. And not to say that kissing is wrong, by all means. I feel like you were saying, it's just so important to have that relationship with Christ, because you're gonna have the Holy Spirit's conviction. Yeah. If by all means, if you can't hold hands because you'll fall into lust, don't hold hands. Mm-hmm. If you can't kiss because you'll fall into you'll end up having sex. At the end of the day, we're all adults. A lot of us do have a past. Thank God for redeeming us from that. But you truly have to know yourself and the Holy Spirit's conviction at the end of the day. Yeah. And I know one thing we used to do was like just pecks. After those boundaries, kind of like let's not kiss, because obviously it's going to lead to certain things. Yeah. So it was tough though, especially going certain places and then having to come back. Mm-hmm.
He said, "But
God."
Yeah.
It's been so many times because we didn't really set those boundary lines initially, where we're like, whoa, we need to backtrack a little bit,
And I think it's just, I don't know if it was just the beginning of you're just being so fresh and new. And there were certain things, and I think there were things, because in the beginning we used to kiss more. And I guess there's going to be different boundaries for different seasons of your life, because I remember telling you, I said, the closer we get to being engaged and married, I said, we're probably going to have less physical interaction, just period, because,
sometimes you have that mindset, we're going to get married anyway.
Yes. Like, you're already my husband.
Might as well.
I have the ring. Like, I have the ring already, right? Yeah. So, and I remember telling him that. I said, the closer, we get, we may have to just, like, you may not have to just see me the whole week, Yeah. But it just really, and I just think it's so important, too, to have, a lot of times when you're dating, or I know in my past relationships, I would find young men, I would tell them, I'm celibate. And they're like, oh, awesome, that's so cool. And they would really admire it. Yeah. But it would kind of be like, I'll be celibate for you. But I'm like, you can't be celibate for me, because now I'm your idol. Right. So I'm like, you have to be celibate for God, and you have to be celibate. That's what I loved about him. He was already celibate before he met me. Yeah. It wasn't like this was something he's already walking out in his single life. It's not he's celibate because of me, because now I'm your idol. And I believe one thing that's key in being celibate before marriage is it truly takes both people, because when I'm weak and I want to give up, I'm like, okay, let's just have sex. He's like, no, stay strong. We got this. Yeah. And when he's weak and like, let's just, give in. I'm like, no, we got this. We're picking each other up along the way. Like, God forbid, if we're both weak on the same time. But if he was being celibate because of me, when I'm weak, he's just going to be like, okay, let's have sex, because I'm his idol, and he's not doing it for God. He's doing it for me. Yeah. And so I just think that was I truly admired that about him. He was doing this a few years before I even came into the picture. So I just think that's important.
I hear where you're coming from, and Nonso, having this mindset of being celibate years before you met Mercedes. Why is it important to wait?
Man, there's so much you can save yourself from by just waiting. And when I say that, I mean by heartache and just disappointment and despair, because honestly, if you don't wait and that person's not the person, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just wasted, like I said earlier, like time, One thing you can never gain back. You could possibly miss out on your spouse because you were, in
a situation you probably shouldn't have been.
Exactly, mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. So in your group of friends, did they know that this is what you were doing, being celibate?
Yes.
Okay.
That
so
actually,
how was that?
Funny story. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like that drew a lot of women closer to me. Like, a lot of women were attracted, like, oh, you're celibate? Okay, well, let's try and break that. Like, I'm just being real. We're at a day and age where, women are a little bit more aggressive, you know. So, you know, me telling people that, hey, you know, let you know ahead of time, I'm doing this and I'm doing this for God. They're like, oh, okay, you know.
Especially at the gym too. He's a personal trainer the whole time.
Man,
So
yeah.
You noticed that people were more attracted to that aspect of how you're living your life.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. And you know, I didn't expect that. You know, in my past, I knew like, oh, girls like the bad boys, girls like the dudes that do them dirty. You know, girls like the. Yeah. So I was like, okay, and being celibate and living my life for Christ, you know, I won't have that issue. You know, dealing with women. No, you know, it drew a different types of women. You know,
okay.
So
you were having to weed them out.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of there was a lot of women that approached me that said like, oh yeah, I have this similar mindset as well, but you know, their actions wouldn't back up what they stated.
Yeah, so that's really similar to what Mercedes was saying with her past, you know, with people claiming they want to date with purpose and they didn't, their actions did not back it up. So I think it's really important, you know, just for viewers to know that just because someone is saying these things with their mouth, like you have to see their behavior, how they're interacting when you two are alone, how are they really treating you. So I'm glad that you both touched on that. So Nonso, why Mercedes?
Man, why not Mercedes? I know we're so similar and different at the same time. We have so many, our conversations are deep and meaningful. We can relate on so many different levels. We have so many things in common, and of course we're still different people. So, you know, I'm not saying you have to be exactly alike, but she's like my best friend. Yeah. You are my best friend. I was about to say. So like I can talk to her about any and everything. She had the same goals as I did. So not only did we have similar goals, but this was my best friend. This is someone I could talk to about any and everything. And last of all, she increased me physically, spiritually, and mentally. Awesome. So she worked out with me. She, you know, forced me to read books I didn't want to read, but you know, in the end, it's like, oh wow, this was very inspirational. Yeah. She pushed me to love God even more. There were certain times I'd hear her praying in the morning, and I'm like, wow, like this girl really loves God. I need to get on that level because I know that I need to be the leader in our family. And if she's in the morning praying to God, I need to be in the morning like 2 hours before her, reading even twice as much what she reads. You know, I need to be the man in this relationship. Yeah. But you know, I feel like that's another thing a lot of relationships lack, is that a lot of times you see the woman being the strong spiritual leader, but as a man, you're supposed to increase your wife spiritually, physically, and mentally. So I believe it's our job to encourage the wife or the whatever woman you're in a relationship with to be a strong Christian woman. You know.
I agree. Awesome answer. I really, really appreciate that. And Mercedes, I just want to ask you, I just have a couple more questions for you all. Where did that come from for you? You know, the ability to wake up in the morning to pray. Where did that come from? Were you raised in a Christian household, or can you just briefly touch on that?
I wasn't raised in a Christian household. I got saved. I came to Christ when I was 19 after a very bad breakup. And I was just at a place where I was just so broken, and so I wanted more. And it's like I wasn't raised in a Christian household, but I knew of Jesus. We were kind of the like Easter Christmas Christians. Right. Yeah, you know, the church is packed on those 2 days. But and so I knew of Jesus, but it wasn't until I was about 19 that I truly surrendered my life to Christ, and I just never looked back. And of course it was a very lonely. I mean, 19. That's pretty young to surrender your life to the Lord. It was a very lonely season for me when I first became a Christian, because of course. You'll just notice that when you start living for Christ, a lot of people, a lot of close friends, family, people just start being removed out of your life. Like the more you walk with Him, you'll just, and it was very lonely for me. But I truly, I just thank God for those times of loneliness that allowed me to just build myself up in Him and truly I was just like, go hard or go home. If we're gonna go all the way, we're gonna go all the way. And I'm almost in a sense grateful to the fact I wasn't raised up in a church. Not to, I guess not to say that. Well, I guess there's things that I wasn't able to learn at a young age, but one thing that I never learned was how to play church. And I feel like that's where a lot of Christians are today. They try to look like a Christian, but truly, like, it's something that can only come from the inside out. Like, you have to truly be transformed from the inside out and have that inner light and have the Holy Spirit. Yeah. And so that's something that I've never had to do. I've never fought with, oh, do I look like a Christian? It's like, no, I'm going to be about this, and this is what my lifestyle is going to speak. This is what, I just pray to honor God with my thoughts, with my words, with my actions, and just live every single day for Him and His glory. And it's just been a journey ever since. I look back and I'm just like, wow, He's just so faithful.
Yes.
And I'm just grateful and humbled and got this.
Yeah. I love it. It's awesome. It's genuine. And that is something that really, I believe, will inspire a lot of people, because there are people that are raised in the church. I'm just like you. I didn't really give my life to Christ until I was 21. And it's good for people to see, oh, like, you can, it doesn't matter what point you are in your life, but your heart has to be in it. And it's truly about the relationship, So I love that. Just a couple more questions for you all. Can you just touch on, Nonso, I'm going to start with you. What is the purpose of marriage?
Man, purpose of marriage. Again, I don't believe it's for everyone, but for those who God does call to be married, I believe you are to be each other's helper in life in every way, shape, and form. It's almost like where two or more are gathered. You're able to just bring in more, the presence of God, just in finances, just in all things. You're able to just do more in multiples. So I just believe that God has just placed us on this earth to, of course, multiply and be prosperous people of God. So I believe marriage is like the final addition to just becoming closer to Christ, and for those He does call to be married, So.
Mercedes?
Absolutely, I agree with him. I feel like marriage is it's truly just two becoming one. It's us being just sold out for the Lord together. It's Him being my covering, and Jesus being our head, and it's just such a beautiful entity that God created, and it truly does. When it's done God's way, like, He truly brings out the best in me, and I truly bring out the best. I hope. Do I? No, no. I truly bring out the best in Him, and I think even just like, I'm called to be His helpmeet, even just being His helpmeet, and Him, even He's not my helpmeet, but He does help me a lot, and it's just having that person there to truly seek God together. A lot of times we'll pray things separately, come together for confirmation. We're always trying to pray apart and pray together, that way that we're able to truly hear from God. And like you said, where two or more are gathered, we know that God's presence is going to be in the midst of us. I know that now when I pray, I have someone to agree with me, and someone to lift up that prayer as well. So I truly just believe it's just doing God's work in God's kingdom together, and whatever He calls us to.
Awesome. And the last question I want to ask you all is and this is a question I ask really every couple, being young, being in college, being young adults, a lot of people desire to be married, right? More so, I think this is a stronger desire when it comes to young women, but a lot of people desire it. And we want to make sure that these videos are inspiring people, but also we don't want it to be a marriage to be an idol to anyone. So can you just give a piece of advice to singles when it comes to their season of waiting and not making marriage an idol?
Can I say something
Sure.
real quick? All right. I truly believe that if you are not truly where you want to be as far as let's say you're a jealous person. Would you want your spouse to marry the type of person you are at that point in time? Or let's just say there's some things you want to improve on. I think you need to be the best person you have to be before you get married to someone, because you want the person you're going to marry to be to have the best person that they're supposed to have in life, correct? So I mean, if you're struggling with certain things that I want to improve on these things before I get married, there's just, it helps you with the transition of waiting, because while you wait, that process is the best thing that God can give to you, because in that process you're becoming a better person. You're becoming closer to Christ. I believe by yourself you can find God better. You can seek God better. You can learn more about yourself in your single life. So in understanding that, when you finally do meet your spouse, you know that God has brought you through this process to where you can be the best you can be for that person and for God at the same time.
Awesome. Mercedes, did you have anything that you wanted, a piece of advice you wanted to give?
I would say just truly during that waiting time, during your single life, just seek God, know your purpose. I mean, you can't really come together with someone if you don't know what you're created for. And truly, like he said, just work on yourself, work on developing yourself. If marriage is something that you desire, be in preparation for that. Someone said, I heard a quote that said, the best time to prepare for your marriage is before your marriage. That is the best preparation, and preparation is never time wasted at all. And so you always want to make sure, I mean, I was always like, make sure you know how to budget your finances, right. just practical things, not always spiritual, but, make sure, well, what does the word say about finances? What does the word say about marriage? What is my place in a marriage? What is the scriptural reference to? That was the big thing. I used to write like note cards out and just have them like tacked in my bathroom mirror, like taped to the mirror around my computer, that way that I understand and I know. And like he said, you don't want to be the person that you're looking for. Don't expect somebody to even just be in shape, and you're not in shape. Right. Like, are you preparing for that person? But even just outside of preparing for marriage, just truly find what God has called you to and work it. I mean, live every day for Christ, and just continue to seek your purpose and understand, like I said, what you're called to. I think that's very important.
Yeah, I love that. Really, I think that's very important, to be the person that you wish to attract. Absolutely. So that's awesome. I appreciate you guys so much. You're very inspiring, and I am positive that your wisdom will touch many people, and especially, I just love the fact that you're in college and you're really pursuing after Christ the way that you are. So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, excuse me, for tuning in today. I really appreciate you watching this episode, and if you like what you saw today, please hit the thumbs up and hit subscribe. Of course, I would like to welcome anyone who has any recommendations for features of Dating with Purpose to please email info@ashleyempowers.com, and I'd be more than happy to look over any recommendations you may have, or any suggestions, or any questions that you may want me to ask the next couple that I interview. So once again, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and we pray that this inspires and blesses you. Today I have the honor of interviewing Mercedes and Nonso Chetsuya as they open up and share their journey of dating with purpose. So I would like to welcome you all to the Dating with Purpose show. I'm super excited to finally meet you and that you're here today.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. So can you just start off by, I'm going to do that intro one more time. Okay? Sure. All right. I usually have to do it a couple times just to get comfy.
Sure. No, do your thing.
Where'd Cordell go?
He went down there, but the guy just went to go tell him to chill out because they were there yelling and stuff.
Okay. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Ashley. Well, actually, he says for me to wait 5 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, but to have, I think it's so important for women and young women to see.
Oh.
So we gonna cut that out.